Before we pick the fruit, we must know the tree. This simple truth holds a deep wisdom for life. The fruit is the result, the outcome, the visible success, the reward we desire. But the tree represents the foundation, the effort, the values, and the roots that sustain the fruit. Too often, we are drawn to results without understanding their source. We see someone's success and wish to have the same, but we rarely look at the years of discipline, sacrifice, and consistency that nourish that success. We admire the sweetness of the fruit, but ignore the depth of the roots that made it possible. In life, everything we see is an outcome of something unseen. A strong tree does not grow overnight. It starts as a seed buried in the dark. Its roots spread silently underground, gathering strength before the first leaf appears. The same applies to relationships, careers, and personal growth. Before you trust the fruit, before you accept the result, you must understand the tree it came from. Is it rooted in honesty, kindness, and effort? Or is it built on shortcuts, deceit, and pretense? The health of the tree determines the quality of its fruit. Think of relationships. Sometimes, we get carried away by the sweetness of initial attraction. The fruit looks appealing. The connection feels exciting. But we forget to look at the tree. What are the values, habits, and principles that person stands on? Are they grounded in respect, empathy, and loyalty? Because if the roots are weak, the fruit won't last long. A tree with shallow roots may look beautiful for a while, but the first storm will bring it down. In the same way, a relationship without strong values will not survive challenges. The same principle applies to success. Many chase wealth and fame, but not all success is rooted in integrity. Some fruits shine, but are toxic within. If you build your success on dishonesty or exploitation, it might bring temporary sweetness, but it will soon decay. A tree that grows from polluted soil cannot produce nourishing fruit. Real success, the kind that gives peace along with prosperity, always comes from clean roots. Hard work, persistence, and sincerity. That is why it's more important to cultivate strong foundations than to chase quick results. In every area of life, we must learn to examine the source before celebrating the outcome. When you meet a person, look beyond their achievements and see their character. When you're offered an opportunity, study the values it stands for. When you face failure, don't just mourn the loss. Look at what kind of tree you are becoming in the process. The unseen roots of effort and resilience are preparing you for sweeter fruits in the future. Knowing the tree also means knowing yourself. You are both the tree and the fruit. What kind of soil are you planted in? What values feed your roots? If your soil is resentment, greed, or comparison, your fruits will carry bitterness. But if your soil is gratitude, compassion, and patience, your fruits will bring sweetness to others. Every thought you think, every action you take, is like watering your roots. Over time, those small acts shape your entire life. So before you reach for any fruit, success, love, recognition, pause and look at the tree. Understand the process behind the product, the effort behind the ease, and the roots behind the results. When you value the tree more than the fruit, your life grows with depth, stability, and integrity. Because only a well-rooted tree can bear fruits that last. The sweetest fruits aren't always the prettiest ones, and the same holds true in life. We live in a time where appearance has become more important than authenticity. We choose things that look appealing, people who appear charming, and paths that seem easy. But just as a shiny apple can hide a worm inside, the outer beauty of something doesn't guarantee its true worth. The world constantly tells us to chase attraction, but wisdom reminds us to seek authenticity. What glitters isn't always gold, and what looks simple or ordinary can sometimes hold the deepest value. In relationships, this truth is especially powerful. Many people fall in love with appearances, looks, style, or social image. But those things fade quickly. Beauty may attract the eyes, but authenticity touches the heart. A person who is real may not always be perfect, but they will bring peace. They will stand with you through thick and thin, not just when life is easy. Authenticity is not about perfection. It's about honesty. It's about showing up as you are, without masks. In a world full of pretenders, the rarest treasure is someone who is genuine. They may not always say what you want to hear, but they will speak truth. They may not look glamorous, but they will offer warmth that feels like home. The same applies to success. Many chase the illusion of success, the car, the title, the applause, but deep down they feel empty. Why? Because they have built a life for show, not for satisfaction. In the real success isn't about how it looks to others, it's about how it feels to you. A quiet life of purpose, peace, and passion is far richer than a loud life built on constant competition and stress. Authentic success doesn't need validation. It speaks for itself. When you live aligned with your values, when your actions reflect your heart, you radiate a kind of fulfillment that no external achievement can match, even in personal growth. Authenticity plays a vital role. Many try to become someone they are, not just to fit in, impress others, or escape judgment. But pretending to be something you're not is like painting a fruit to make it look ripe. It may look appealing, but it's hollow inside. Growth happens when you accept yourself honestly, your strengths, weaknesses, flaws, and gifts. When you embrace your true self, you attract experiences and people who resonate with your authenticity. You no longer have to perform, you simply have to be. That's when life begins to flow effortlessly. Authenticity also means being consistent when no one is watching. Anyone can look kind in public, but the real test of character lies in what we do when we think no one will notice. True authenticity doesn't change with audience or environment. It remains grounded in truth. It's choosing to do the right thing, not because it looks good, but because it is good. A fruit that's naturally sweet doesn't need sugar coating. Its flavor speaks for itself. Similarly, a genuine person doesn't need to prove their worth. Their actions reveal it naturally. When we start choosing authenticity over attraction, we begin to live more peacefully. We stop exhausting ourselves trying to impress others. We stop comparing our lives with the filtered images of others. Instead, we start living from within, guided by values, not validation. We realize that the best people, opportunities, and experiences don't always announce themselves loudly. They come quietly, with depth and sincerity. The fruit that looks plain may be the sweetest one you'll ever taste. So, as you walk through the marketplace of life, learn to see beyond the shine. Choose what's real, even if it looks simple, because in the end, it's not the brightness of the skin, but the richness of the flavor that truly satisfies. Every fruit has its season, and so does every human being. Just as nature follows its rhythm, life too unfolds in perfect timing. But in our world of instant gratification, we have lost touch with this natural pace. We want everything now: success, recognition, love, and growth. We forget that even the sweetest fruit cannot ripen overnight. It needs time, sunlight, and care. Similarly, our dreams and destinies require patience, perseverance, and faith in timing. When we compare our journey with others, we create unnecessary frustration. The truth is, no two trees bear fruit at the same time, even if they were planted together. Each has its own process, its own moment of bloom. In life, comparison is the thief of joy. We often look at someone else's success and feel that we are behind. We question our worth, thinking that we must be doing something wrong because others seem ahead. But life isn't a race. It's a garden. Every tree grows differently depending on its soil, environment, and nourishment. Some fruits ripen early, others take longer, but all are valuable in their season. The mango doesn't envy the apple, nor does the apple rush to outgrow the orange. Each fruit waits for its time and becomes perfect when it's meant to. Similarly, when we stop comparing our pace with others, we discover peace in our process. There is a reason why life doesn't give us everything we want immediately. If blessings came before we were ready to handle them, they could easily overwhelm or harm us. Imagine a fruit forced to ripen before its time. It might look ripe, but it won't taste right. It will lack flavor and nourishment. The same is true for us. If we receive success before developing maturity, we won't be able to sustain it. If we enter relationships before healing our own wounds, we may end up hurting others. Timing ensures readiness. Life doesn't deny us, it prepares us. The waiting period is not punishment, it's preparation. Each season of life has a purpose. Spring brings new beginnings. Summer demands hard work. Autumn teaches us to let go. And winter invites us to rest. We need every phase to complete the cycle of growth. Some seasons feel exciting, others challenging, but none are wasted. Even when nothing seems to be happening, the roots beneath are strengthening. So when life slows down, don't rush to escape it. Trust that something meaningful is forming underground. The fruit you will bear tomorrow depends on the patience you practice today. Learning to embrace your season also means understanding timing in relationships, careers, and dreams. Sometimes what you desire isn't denied. It's simply delayed until you're ready. You may meet the right person at the wrong time or get the right opportunity when you're not prepared. Life has a way of aligning things perfectly when both you and your circumstances are ready. Just as the fruit waits for the sun to ripen it, your destiny waits for you to evolve into the person who can handle it. When we respect timing, we live with less stress and more gratitude. We stop forcing outcomes and start flowing with life. We begin to realize that every delay carries hidden blessings, and every season, even the harsh ones, plays a role in shaping our sweetness. Just as nature never rushes, yet everything gets accomplished, so too must we learn to move at our own pace, steady, patient, and trusting. Because when your season arrives, you won't have to chase opportunities. They will naturally fall into your hands like ripe fruit ready for harvest. The perfect fruit in life is the one that nourishes your soul, not just your senses. We live in a time where it's easy to confuse pleasure with fulfillment. We chase things that excite us temporarily: new gadgets, attention, admiration, or luxury. But these are like sugary fruits that give instant sweetness yet leave us hungry soon after. True nourishment doesn't come from what looks good or feels exciting in the moment. It comes from what brings peace, meaning, and lasting satisfaction. Just like your body craves nutritious food to stay healthy, your soul craves experiences that help it grow, heal, and connect deeply. When you eat a nourishing fruit, you feel energized and refreshed. In the same way, when you make choices that feed your soul, acts of kindness, moments of gratitude, time spent in silence, service to others, you feel a deep sense of contentment. It's not loud or flashy, but it fills you with quiet joy. The problem is that our attention has been trained to seek stimulation instead of nourishment. We are constantly scrolling, comparing, and chasing what everyone else seems to want without asking ourselves, does this truly feed me? What's trending may not be what's right for your soul. Every fruit offers different nutrients, and similarly, every person's soul has unique needs. For one person, creative expression might be nourishing. For another, solitude might bring peace. For someone else, helping others might fill their heart. The key is to listen to what your inner self truly hungers for. When you neglect your soul's diet, you begin to feel restless and empty, no matter how much you achieve or acquire. Many people appear successful, but feel drained inside because they've been feeding on the wrong kind of fruit. Pleasure instead of purpose, approval instead of authenticity. A nourishing life isn't always glamorous. It might mean saying no to things that look appealing, but drain your energy. It might mean spending time in reflection when everyone else is busy performing. It might mean choosing peace over popularity, truth over comfort, or simplicity over luxury. The fruits that truly feed the soul often grow on the quieter side of the orchard. They require patience to find and humility to appreciate. But once you taste them, you stop craving the artificial sweetness of shallow satisfaction. It's also important to remember that nourishing your soul doesn't mean avoiding challenges. In fact, some of the most nourishing fruits in life grow from the toughest seasons. Pain, loss, and failure may not taste sweet at first, but they often carry hidden nutrients for your soul, lessons in resilience, compassion, and strength. Just like bitter herbs can heal the body, difficult experiences can purify and strengthen the heart. What matters is how you digest them, whether you allow them to make you wiser or let them make you bitter. When your choices are aligned with your inner nourishment, life begins to feel balanced. You no longer depend on external rewards to feel alive. You start valuing depth over display and meaning over material gain. You begin to see that true wealth is not how much you have, but how peaceful you feel. The fruits of the Spirit, love, gratitude, patience, kindness, become your real treasures. And just like a tree that shares its fruit freely, a nourished soul naturally becomes a source of nourishment for others. So, as you walk through the garden of life, don't just look for fruits that shine. Choose the ones that strengthen you from within. Feed your mind with wisdom, your heart with compassion, and your actions with purpose. Because when your soul is nourished, everything you do becomes sweeter. Your words, your work, and your presence in the lives of others. My friends, have you ever gone to a fruit market? You see hundreds of fruits, some shining on the outside, some dull, some perfectly round, some oddly shaped. You start tapping, pressing, smelling, inspecting, trying to find that one perfect fruit. But here's the truth. Sometimes the fruit that looks perfect outside is completely rotten inside. And sometimes the one that looks a bit bruised outside is the sweetest one you'll ever taste. Life, my friends, is a lot like that fruit market. We spend so much time picking fruits that we forget what we're really choosing. People, opportunities, habits, even dreams. We go by what looks good, not what is good. But the secret to joy, peace, and fulfillment lies in learning how to pick perfect fruits. Not the perfect looking ones, but the perfect feeling ones. Think about it. We often choose relationships because they seem exciting, not because they're genuine. We chase jobs because they look glamorous, not because they align with our values. We pick goals because society calls them success, not because our hearts whisper purpose. A wise fruit picker knows, before you pick the fruit, you must know the tree. Before you trust the shine, you must know the roots. So how do we become better fruit pickers in life? We must learn to pause, to feel, to listen, to look beyond the surface. The same way a good farmer doesn't rush the harvest, we must not rush our choices. The perfect fruit is not about being flawless. It's about being ripe at the right time, growing in the right season, and nurtured by the right soil. And so are you. Sometimes you're not ready to be picked. Sometimes you're still growing. And that's okay. Growth takes time. Sweetness takes patience. What looks appealing on the outside may not always hold true value within. In life, we often get carried away by appearances. Beautiful faces, impressive resumes, luxurious lifestyles, polished words, and charming personalities. But just like a shiny fruit can hide decay inside, a glittering exterior can conceal emptiness, pain, or even dishonesty. The art of living wisely begins when we learn to look beyond the outer shell and recognize the essence that lies within. The world around us constantly advertises perfection, flawless bodies, grand possessions, and filtered happiness. We are trained to admire what dazzles our eyes, forgetting that the sweetest parts of life are often hidden beneath the rough and ordinary. Consider the simple mango. Sometimes the one with spots on its skin holds the richest flavor. The slightly bruised banana can be softer and sweeter than the spotless one. The same is true for people. The most genuine hearts are often those who have faced struggles, pain, and rejection. Their scars become symbols of authenticity. They may not look perfect by the world's standards, but they carry a depth that only experience can create. If we keep judging by appearance, we miss the beauty of their essence. In our relationships, we sometimes choose companions who shine on the surface. They talk well, dress well, and seem perfect in public. But soon we realize that external charm cannot replace internal kindness. True worth is measured not by how someone looks, but by how they make you feel, how they treat others when no one is watching, and how they stand with you when life becomes difficult. Just as a ripe fruit is judged by its taste, not its color, people must be valued for their character, not their image. This truth extends beyond relationships. We often run after careers or possessions that look glamorous, thinking they will bring fulfillment. But after achieving them, we sometimes feel empty. Why? Because appearance alone can never satisfy the soul. We decorate our lives with things that shine. But what truly nourishes us are the things that bring peace, purpose, integrity, love, and connection. A fruit's sweetness depends on its inner ripeness. A person's joy depends on their inner growth. Even our own self-image can deceive us. We polish our outside, our clothes, our looks, our reputation, but neglect the garden within. We worry about how others see us, not how we truly are. But life has a beautiful way of teaching us storms will test every surface, and only what's strong within will last. When challenges come, appearances fade. What remains is the quality of our roots, our values, resilience, and sincerity. To live wisely is to develop an inner vision, a heart that can see what eyes cannot. It's learning to recognize goodness behind imperfections, wisdom behind silence, and love behind simplicity. When we stop being fooled by outer glitter, we begin to appreciate the real treasures around us. The world may keep rewarding appearances, but the soul always celebrates authenticity. A person of substance may not always be noticed first, but they will always be remembered last. So, As you walk through life's market, filled with shiny distractions, remember to look beyond the surface. Feel the fruit. Sense the energy. Trust your intuition. Because the perfect fruit is not the one that looks flawless, it's the one that nourishes your heart when you taste it. And when you start living this way, you'll realize that the sweetest things in life are never the most polished, they are the most real. Life can be compared to a vast fruit market, filled with endless options, colors, and fragrances. Every choice we make, whether it's about relationships, career paths, friendships, or personal habits, is like selecting a fruit from that market. We walk through aisles of possibilities, our senses overwhelmed by what looks attractive, what smells appealing, and what seems popular. But just like in a fruit market, not every bright apple is sweet, and not every dull-looking mango is bland. The wisdom of life lies not in having many options, but in knowing how to choose the right ones. We often approach life's market in a hurry. We pick what everyone else is picking, thinking it must be the best because it's trending. We see others holding a certain fruit. Maybe it's a particular career, a relationship, a lifestyle, and we assume that's what success looks like. But sometimes we forget that what suits one person's taste might not suit ours. The sweetness of a fruit depends on your preference. Some like it sour, some like it ripe, some like it mild. Similarly, what fulfills another person's heart may not bring joy to yours. In this great marketplace of life, we sometimes get tempted by appearances. A relationship that seems glamorous from the outside may be full of emptiness within. A job that pays well may rob you of peace and family time. A habit that seems harmless may gradually drain your health and focus. We get drawn to what shines, and in doing so, we often trade inner satisfaction for outer illusion. Just as the tastiest fruits are sometimes hidden behind the plain ones, the most meaningful paths are often the quiet, simple ones that don't draw much attention. Every choice we make adds a flavor to our life's basket. Some choices make our life sweeter, while others bring bitterness. But each teaches us something. The secret is to choose consciously, not carelessly. When you select a fruit, you check its firmness, smell, and texture. In the same way, when making life choices, pause and examine, does this align with my values? Does it bring peace or anxiety? Is this fruit of life nourishing my soul or just feeding my ego? The way we choose reveals the depth of our awareness. There's a certain beauty in learning to pick wisely. A good fruit picker doesn't rush. They know that patience leads to better selection. Similarly, in life, those who take time to reflect before deciding often end up with richer experiences. Every decision we make today will shape the flavor of our tomorrow. If we keep choosing based on temporary excitement, we'll soon realize our basket is full, but not fulfilling. It's not the quantity of fruits we collect that matters, but their quality. Sometimes, we also need to accept that not every choice we make will turn out perfectly. Some fruits will disappoint us. Some opportunities will seem right but won't taste the way we imagine. That's okay. Even a spoiled fruit teaches us how to choose better next time. The goal is not perfection but progress, the ability to discern with greater wisdom each time. When we learn to see life like a fruit market, we begin to understand that it's not about chasing what looks best. It's about recognizing what feels right. The true art lies in understanding your own taste, your own needs, and your own purpose. Because in the end, the perfect fruit for your life isn't the one that others recommend. It's the one that nourishes your heart, aligns with your soul, and leaves you feeling whole. Observation is one of the most underrated skills in life. Most people see, but very few truly observe. The art of observation is what separates the wise from the impulsive, the calm from the restless, and the fulfilled from the lost. In life, just as in a fruit market, the best picker is not the one who grabs the most fruit, but the one who takes time to notice the details, to feel, to listen, to understand. In a world that moves fast, we have forgotten how to slow down and look deeper. We glance at things, judge quickly, and move on. But if you truly wish to live wisely, you must master the art of observation, learning to see beyond what is visible and hear what is not spoken. Imagine standing at a fruit stall. 2 apples lie before you, both red, both shiny. But the wise observer doesn't pick either immediately. They hold one in their hand, feel its firmness, check for softness or bruises, smell its freshness. They take a moment before choosing. This simple act of attention separates a random choice from a thoughtful one. Life is no different. Every decision, whether about people, opportunities, or actions, requires this same level of awareness. The surface never tells the full story. What you see is often just the cover. The truth is hidden beneath layers of experience, intention, and emotion. In relationships, this art becomes essential. Many times, we meet people and form opinions too quickly based on their appearance, their accent, or their confidence. We either glorify them or dismiss them without really us knowing them. But if we just observe a little more, we begin to see the details, the kindness in their small gestures, the honesty in their eyes, or sometimes the pain behind their smile. Observation teaches empathy. It helps us understand that every person is fighting a battle we cannot see. Every soul has a story we haven't heard. When we slow down and notice, we stop judging and start understanding. The same applies to opportunities. In our rush to achieve, we often grab what looks appealing, jobs that promise fame, ventures that promise profit, or paths that seem easy. But those who have trained their eyes through observation see things others miss. They notice the fine print, the long-term impact, and the emotional cost. They understand that not everything shiny leads to success. Observation protects us from illusions. It builds wisdom by teaching us to look for depth, not decoration. Observation also reveals the rhythm of life. Nature teaches this best. A farmer watches the clouds, feels the wind, studies the soil, and then decides when to sow the seeds. He doesn't act on impulse. He acts with awareness. Similarly, in our lives, we must learn to read the seasons, to know when to act, when to pause, when to wait, and when to let go. Those who observe patiently often achieve results that seem effortless because they move in harmony with life's timing. True observation is not just about looking outward. It's also about looking inward. It's about watching your thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment. When you observe yourself, you begin to understand your patterns, why you get angry, what triggers your fear, what brings you peace. That awareness becomes the foundation for growth, because only when you observe can you change. So, the next time you're faced with a choice, whether it's a fruit in the market or a path in life, pause. Don't just see, observe. Listen to the silence between the words. Feel the energy behind the appearance. The art of observation turns ordinary living into conscious living, and it transforms every simple act, like picking a fruit, into a moment of wisdom. In a world that glorifies speed, patience has quietly become one of the most powerful and rare virtues. Everyone wants results instantly. Quick success, instant recognition, immediate answers. But just as a fruit takes time to ripen, every dream, relationship, and goal in life requires patience to reach its fullest sweetness. Rushing the process only leads to disappointment. A fruit plucked too early may look fine from the outside, but tastes bitter within. The same happens when we hurry through life seasons. We might achieve something that looks good on the surface, but inside we feel incomplete. Patience is not about waiting aimlessly. It's about trusting the process. A farmer never plants a seed in the morning and digs it up in the evening to check if it's growing. He knows that what's happening beneath the soil is invisible but essential. The roots must first grow strong before the fruit can appear. Likewise, in our lives, many of our greatest transformations happen quietly, beneath the surface of our awareness. We don't always see progress immediately, but that doesn't mean growth isn't happening. When you learn to trust the unseen work of time, you begin to experience peace even in waiting. Life has its own rhythm, its own divine timing. When we try to rush it, we interfere with its natural flow. Look at nature, every fruit has its season. Mangoes ripen in the summer, oranges in the winter. You can't rush an orange to grow in July. It won't taste the same. Similarly, every event in our life unfolds at the time that is right for us. Our impatience often comes from comparison. We look at others who seem to be ahead and wonder why we're still waiting. But what we forget is that every tree blooms in its own season. Your fruit will ripen too, but not when you force it, only when you nurture it with consistent care and faith. There's a hidden strength in patience. It teaches you endurance, humility, and gratitude. When you wait with awareness, you grow from within. Impatience, on the other hand, weakens your spirit. It fills you with frustration and anxiety, robbing you of joy in the present moment. How often do we ruin something beautiful by trying to rush it? A relationship that could have deepened with time falls apart because we wanted quick answers. A skill that could have matured through steady effort remains shallow because we wanted fast success. The sweetest victories are those earned slowly because they transform who we are along the way. Patience also brings clarity. When you slow down, your vision becomes sharper. You make better decisions, and your actions carry more depth. Many people mistake delay for denial, but in truth, delays are often divine protection. They give you time to grow into the person who can handle what you've asked for. A fruit takes time to mature because it must be ready for consumption. Similarly, blessings take time to arrive because you must be ready to receive them. If you receive something before you're mature enough to handle it, it can become a burden instead of a blessing. So, when life seems to move slower than you expected, remind yourself, even in stillness, something is happening. The seed is expanding beneath the soil. The roots are spreading, and the sweetness is developing. The greatest things in life can't be rushed, whether it's love, wisdom, or success. They need time to become what they're meant to be. The art of patience is not about doing nothing. It's about trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly. Even when you can't see it yet,